Here we have an algebra of 2 problem. That is, we have to solve the given rational equation for x. That is, we have to find the value of x in the given rational equation. Okay, in my first step, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write the first fraction x positive 7 over x positive 1 as it is, and negative. I'm writing this numerator 5 as it is. Now, in this denominator, I'm going to factor negative sign out. So when I factor negative sign out, so this positive 1 will become negative 1, and this negative x will become positive x. Let me write over here. So even if I distribute this negative sign to this one and this one, I'm getting the original stuff 1 negative x. So equals to, on the right side, we have 3x positive 7 over x square, negative 1. Okay, x positive 7 over x positive 1. So when I multiply this negative and negative, it will become positive 5 over. So we can write this negative 1 positive x as x negative 1 equals to 3x positive 7 over x square negative 1. Okay, to simplify the expression we have on the left side, we can do cross multiplication. So what is cross multiplication? So the numerator over here has to be multiplied by this denominator. So then I'm getting x positive 7 times x negative 1 positive. Now this numerator 5 has to be multiplied by this denominator. Then I'm getting 5 times x positive 1. In denominator, we can multiply the two denominators x positive 1 and x negative 1. Let me write over here x positive 1 times x negative 1 equals to 3x positive 7 over x square negative 1. Okay, let me continue over here. And so here I'm going to multiply these two binomials using the FOIL method. Then first I multiply the first terms x times x, it will be x square. Then I multiply the outer terms x times negative 1 is negative x. And now I multiply the inner term 7 times x is positive 7x. Now I multiply the last terms 7 times negative 1 is negative 7 positive. I can distribute this 5 to this x and positive 1, then I'm getting 5x positive 5 over. So here in denominator, we have a product of two binomials x positive 1 and x negative 1. Actually, this is the product of these two binomials is in the form of a positive b times a negative b. So whenever we multiply two binomials in this form, always it results a square negative b square. So comparing the product over here and this one, so we have x instead of a and we have 1 instead of b. So what is the result of the product of these two binomials? So a square negative b square. At the place of a we have x, so we have to write x square. And at the place of b we have 1, so we have to write 1 square. On the right side we have to write this one as it is, that is 3x positive 7 over x square negative 1. Okay, now let's simplify the expression we have in the numerator on the left side. So we can write the x square as it is. Okay, now when I combine this 7x and 5x, positive 7x, positive 5x, positive 12x and negative x will become positive 11x. And when I combine this negative 7 positive 5, it will become negative 2 over x square negative. The value of 1 square is just 1 equals to 3x positive 7 over x square negative 1. Okay, now what we can do is we can multiply both sides of the equation by x square negative 1 to get rid of the denominators. Let me multiply both sides by x square negative 1. Let me do it. Okay, so this x square negative 1 will cancel. The same thing will happen on the right side also. So then we get x square positive 11x negative 2 equals to 3x positive 7. So now we got a quadratic equation. So to solve this quadratic equation, so we have to write this quadratic equation standard form. That is ax square positive bx positive c equals to 0. That is we have to get everything on the left side and 0 on the right side. So to write the quadratic equation standard form. So now let me get rid of the stuff on the right side. For that I have to subtract 3x from both sides, and also I have to subtract 7 from both sides. When I do so, so this positive 3x negative 3x will cancel, positive 7 negative 7 will cancel out, and I'm getting x square. When I combine positive 11x negative 3x, I'm getting positive 8x. When I combine negative 2 and negative 7, I'm getting negative 9 equals to 0. Now we have the quadratic equation in standard form. I think this quadratic equation can be solved by factoring. So to solve this quadratic equation by factoring, I have to multiply this constant of negative 9 by the coefficient of x square, that is 1. So 1 times negative 9 is negative 9. So now what I have to do is I have to get two factors for this negative 9, so that the product of two factors equals to negative 9 and the sum of the two factors equals to the coefficient of x, which is positive 8. I think positive 9 and negative 1 will work. When I multiply positive 9 and negative 9, it becomes negative 9. And also when I add positive 9 and negative 1, it becomes positive 8. Okay, now what I need to do is I have to divide both these factors by the coefficient of x square, that is 1. So even if I divide these two factors by 1, still I'm getting the same value, positive 9 and negative 1. So now to get the two values of x in this quadratic equation, I have to change the sign of the first factor. So if I change the sign of the first factor, it will become -9. So -9 is one of the values of x in this quadratic equation. So to get the second value of x, what I have to do is the same thing. I have to change the sign of the second factor. So if I change this sign negative, it will become positive. That is, the second value of x is positive 1. So solving the given rational equation, I'm getting two values for x. One is x equals to -9 and the other one is x equals to 1. And also, when we solve this kind of rational equations, all the values we get for the variable x in the final step cannot be considered as value solutions. If I consider the second solution, that is x equals to 1, it does not make sense with the given rational equation, because when I plug in x equals to 1 into the rational equation, what will happen? So specifically in denominator over here, if I plug in x equals to 1, it becomes 0, then the value of this fraction becomes undefined. And also the same thing will happen for this fraction also, because when I plug in x equals to 1, so the denominator over here becomes 0 and the value of this fraction becomes undefined. So x equals to 1 is not a valid solution. So for the given rational equation, there is only one solution, that is x equals to -9.